The world is shifting, tensions are rising, and the headlines are more explosive than ever. From President Trump's warnings of war with Iran to a global trade shakeup and shocking political maneuvers, we break down the biggest stories you need to know. Stay tuned, because what's happening now will shape the future. The United States is once again facing heightened tensions with Iran, as President Donald Trump has issued a stark warning. In an interview with NBC News, Trump stated that if Iran does not agree to a new deal over its nuclear program, the U.S. will respond with military action, saying, if they don't make a deal, there will be bombing the likes of which they have never seen before. Additionally, Trump hinted at reintroducing economic tariffs similar to those that pressured Iran into negotiations 4 years ago. This warning follows Iran's outright rejection of direct talks with the U.S., citing ongoing economic sanctions as a major point of contention. Meanwhile, Senator Lindsey Graham has openly advocated for military intervention, arguing that diplomacy has little chance of success in curbing Iran's nuclear ambitions. Reports indicate that the U.S. has been deploying additional military assets to strategic locations, raising concerns over possible conflict escalation. In another diplomatic development, President Trump has expressed anger at Russian President Vladimir Putin for questioning the legitimacy of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Putin recently claimed that Zelensky's term had expired and called for internationally supervised elections in Ukraine, a move Western allies have strongly opposed. Trump, speaking to NBC, emphasized that undermining Zelensky could derail any future peace agreements. He also warned that if Russia stalls negotiations, he may impose secondary tariffs on Russian oil, potentially restricting major buyers such as India, China, South Korea, Turkey, and the European Union. Meanwhile, tensions in the Indo-Pacific continue to grow as U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, speaking alongside Japanese Defense Minister Gen Nakatani, accused China of aggressive and coercive behavior in the region. Hegseth reaffirmed the U.S. and Japan's commitment to maintaining a strong deterrent in the Taiwan Strait. When questioned about reports that China plans to invade Taiwan by 2027, he emphasized that the U.S. remains prepared for any developments. Economic uncertainty is also making waves as President Trump's 25% tariffs on foreign automakers are set to take effect on April 2nd. When questioned, Trump acknowledged that some countries are seeking trade agreements, but suggested that any deals would likely come after the tariffs take hold. This uncertainty has contributed to a shaky stock market, with inflation data adding to investor concerns. In Europe, Estonia has passed a constitutional amendment stripping non-EU citizens of their right to vote in local elections. The change, which affects Russian and Belarusian residents, was passed by an overwhelming majority in parliament. Prime Minister Kristen Michal defended the decision, arguing that it ensures Estonia's sovereignty. Critics, however, have condemned the move as undemocratic. Estonia has taken an increasingly hardline stance since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, tightening immigration policies and significantly boosting its defense budget. Shifting to North America, air travel between the U.S. and Canada has sharply declined, with bookings down over 70% compared to last year. According to aviation analytics firm OAG, airlines are slashing flight capacity through October, with Trump's tariff policies and his controversial remarks about Canada potentially joining the U.S. as the 51st state playing a role in the downturn. As airlines attempt to stimulate demand, travelers may see lower fares in the coming months. In the tech world, Apple has introduced a significant update to its Maps platform in Australia and New Zealand, incorporating Indigenous place names, protected areas, and historical site labels. The update, developed in collaboration with Indigenous language centers and land trusts, provides users with cultural stories and dual naming options. Apple describes this as part of its commitment to respecting and representing the communities it serves. Back in the U.S., Donald Trump has floated the idea of seeking a third presidential term, stating, "I'm not joking," while acknowledging that it is too early to consider. His longtime advisor, Steve Bannon, has suggested that Trump is exploring ways to bypass the 22nd Amendment, which limits presidents to 2 terms. Legal experts widely dismiss any potential for Trump to extend his presidency, citing the constitutional barriers in place. In the political arena, Maryland Governor Wes Moore has voiced concerns over declining young male support for the Democratic Party. Senator Michael Bennet has echoed similar sentiments, criticizing the party's image as being out of touch with working-class Americans. A recent CNN poll revealed that Democratic Party favorability has plunged to a record low of 29%, marking a significant drop since 2021. Moore has urged his party to develop a more compelling vision that addresses the concerns of younger voters. In international affairs, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is preparing for a direct discussion with President Trump regarding trade tariffs. Concerns are mounting that Australia could face economic consequences amid Trump's ongoing trade war. While Albanese's government has engaged in constructive dialogue with U.S. officials, uncertainty remains as an official announcement is expected on April 2nd. Meanwhile, Albanese's approval ratings have now drawn closer to those of opposition leader Peter Dutton. Finally, Greenland's Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen has firmly rejected U.S. President Donald Trump's assertion that the U.S. aims to annex Greenland. Nielsen emphasized Greenland's sovereignty, declaring, "The United States won't get that. Greenland determines its own future." Trump's comments have reignited discussions about Greenland's geopolitical significance, but its leadership remains steadfast in its independence. That's all for tonight's news update. Thank you for joining us. We'll continue to monitor these stories and bring you the latest developments. Stay safe, stay informed, and have a good night. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update.